Hi there, it's Father John again, and I'm here with the Day to Day with St. Joseph program on our website, and on Friday, October the 8th. And we're going to be talking about a blessed of the church who founded an order dedicated to St. Joseph. Her name, and it's in French, I'm not good with French pronunciation, Anne Marie Javouhy. Javouhey. Okay, so I think that's how you pronounce it. Uh, and the order is Saint Joseph of Cluny, the Sisters of Saint Joseph of Cluny. And we're going about 11 or 12 minutes today, just talking about this saint who inspires about 3,000 religious today in over 50 countries, living her amazing mission of life and inspiring a lot of other persons assisting this order in its mission. Anne Marie Javouhy is a blessed of the church. She was born on November 10th, 1779, and she died at 71 on July 15th, 1851. That makes July 15th then the day on the church calendar for her, and especially in France and French Guiana. They certainly remember her in a very special way. She was a French nun. She is the founder or foundress of the Sisters of St. Joseph of Cluny. Cluny is the place. She is venerated in the church and known with the title Liberator of the Slaves in the New World. And she's the mother of the town of Mana, French Guiana. She was born in the commune of Chablanc, the fifth of 10 children, to a local wealthy farm couple, Balthazar and Claudine Javouhy. Through her teen years, she helped to hide and care for a number of priests persecuted by the French Revolution, which was so awful to the church. And she would keep watch for the priests as they said Mass in private. And she made a vow then at 19 years old, but was not able to become a nun because the revolutionary government had closed convents and churches. But in 1800, she joined the Daughters of Charity, and in 1800 was reported to have had a vision of Saint Teresa of Avila, entrusting children of different races to her in different colors. She did not understand the meaning at the time. Javouhy did not remain at the convent. In 1801, she started a school for poor children near Chablanc, her hometown. And given the poverty of the conditions, it was not particularly successful. She then entered a Trappistine convent. It's a rather strict religious order. And having completed the novitiate, once again returned home. So Anne Marie was joined by 3 of her sisters, and together they opened a school and an orphanage. Their father provided some financial assistance. She founded the Sisters of St. Joseph at Cabillan in 1805 to educate children and to reduce the miseries onto them that arose out of the French Revolution. In the early stages, to get the children to attend the school, she resorted to playing soccer with the locals and requested them to attend school to play more soccer. She received permission from the government to use a former seminary, which had become national property, and there educated young girls and trained them for work. In 1810, the building, though, became a prison for Spanish prisoners of war. The sisters took up nursing in the prison hospital for the time, and Javouhy contracted typhus but recovered. So in 1812, Anne Marie Javouhy brought then a monastery at Cluny, and this convent became their mother house until 1849. There she opened workshops and a home for war widows too. So she was invited in 1817 to open a school on Le Bourbon in the Indian Ocean. In 1819, she established a mission presence at Saint Louis, Senegal, and in Gorée, Senegal, where she focused on improving the hospitals. Her first attempt to develop an African clergy was to found a Christian village, but this effort failed after an epidemic. In 1822, the incident was present in Guyana and Guadeloupe. So as you can see, she was willing to go out to new places as a missionary. At the request of the British government, she left for St. Mary's in Gambia, a holding place for about 400 slaves taken from Moorish vessels. And there she worked tirelessly to help the victims of an epidemic in the area. The governor then asked her to go to Sierra Leone. Again, she focused her efforts on tending to the sick and the injured. After 3 months, there was an outbreak of yellow fever. Again, Jehoe recovered, but was so very weak that she returned to France. Once back in France, Anne-Marie realized that she needed to reestablish control of the mission on Les Bourbons and sent her sister, Rosalie, to take charge. The Institute expanded its work to care for the mentally ill. Now we go to a French Guiana stage. The government of France contracted her to establish a colony in the interior of the country of the South American colony of Guyana. After receiving full approval of her plans, Anne-Marie left with 36 nuns and 50 emigrants. Over time, what was called New Angoulême turned out not to be a success, and after 5 years' work, she returned to France. In 1828, she returned to the area at the request of the French government to assist in preparing a group of African slaves for emancipation. The settlement, known as Mana, became quite prosperous and attracted the jealousy of colonists at the mouth of the Arakoane River. A plot was hatched to kill her, but the boatman was onto it. Asked to do it, backed off, thinking this was too great a person. And there was other strife like this, where she was ministering in these French colonies. In 1841, though, 400 slaves had been emancipated in correlation with her ministry there. She returned to France in 1843, facing several difficulties, including ecclesiastical opposition. But during the Revolution of 1848, Jehoe organized the sisters into a sort of ambulance brigade to care for the wounded, and she and her order continued to establish new mission houses of her order all over the world, going forth to India, Tahiti, Madagascar, and 30 places of French territories. Well, she died in Paris in 1851, and then the cause of her beatification began in 1908, and she was beatified in 1950. Today, the congregation of her founding is called the Sisters of St. Joseph of Cluny. And they're here in the United States now, and up in Canada. They've expanded to Ireland. And it's an interesting story of women willing to serve where they need to be and how they're needed, and just selflessly. It's an amazing life, and they live very much in a life of prayer, and they imitate what they think Joseph's life would be. Prayer and work and selfless devotion to what God has asked them to do. And they have a specific mission that continues. You think it started in the French Revolution era and is still going on. God bless them. It's a difficult thing now to recruit women into religious orders, but this sounds like just a fantastic life. And I went to their website. You can just look up this blessed and find the whole order. And this was on their website of who they are and Joseph's name. As we are joined in community, we should live in unity with all its members, having one heart and soul. We should be always willing to labor and suffer privations without troubling others. We must possess nothing of our own, aware that everything belongs to the community according to the spirit of community life. If we find that we are in want for certain things, and surely we will be often, we should rejoice, because holy poverty does not imply that we should want nothing, but rather it means that we should be happy to do without anything for the sake of God and the sake of others. Each sister should be prepared to accept willingly the duties assigned to her, no matter how hard or how menial they appear. Anne-Marie Jahui. Saint Joseph has greatly inspired these women to great works in the Lord and great sacrifice, all for the gospel of Christ. And so we put it back on ourselves, and it's difficult to compare ourselves to the great saints like Anne-Marie, but how are we imitating Joseph? How are we imitating Joseph in this year of Joseph when he is put before us? This is Father Barry. Thank you.